Okay, hi Maddie. I'm starting to record this session. If you um, can come in later, that will be great. Otherwise, I've sent you an email letting you know that I will send you a link to the recorded class and you can then watch it later. Be sure to watch it. There's some pretty important information in here for you to get started on this class. This is your capstone. You said you wanted to do phlebotomy. I have tailored this class to a phlebotomy certification. And when I've done that in the past, it's worked out pretty well. The whole purpose of the class is to get you prepared to take the certification exam, which will be on the 19th of December at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So you need to be sure that you have arrangements made if you need to make any so that you can be here for that certification. It is critical that we have you prepared and that you be at least 15 minutes early. So you need to be at school on the 19th about 12:45 in order to get into the testing room. If you're late, you miss the opportunity for a month. Let's talk about this particular class. First off, it is a capstone class. We will be doing, obviously not this week because of weather and holiday, we will be doing phlebotomy as part of the class each week. So think about how we can do this. If we may have to rethink the time we meet. Because we want to have people coming in, unless you can arrange to have family members or friends come in and have you practice on them. We will have limited, people in the office that are willing to be poked. I don't know that it'll be very easy to actually do enough sticks. I don't know how many you got in Nate's class. We want to get you up to about 30 before the end of this mod, which means regularly doing sticks. So what we will do is I'd like you to think about whether or not you'd rather have the class earlier in the day, say starting at 10 a.m. And going until 1 o'clock or so with the power hour stuff and everything, so that we will have people on campus that you can recruit for practice. So think about that. Think about it very carefully. How are we going to get you up to that? Make sure you bring in your blue book with your recorded sticks. So we want to be sure to keep that up to date and have you there. Think about any other particular skills you'd like to practice on. I know you want to do phlebotomy, and that's wonderful. God knows we need phlebotomists. So we want you to do that. You'll be going in very soon, if not next mod, into your externship. So we want to have you prepared for that. The structure of this class will look like some of your others in some ways. There will be a discussion each week. The discussions are case studies in weeks 1 through 3, and then preparation for getting out into the workplace in week 4. The in-class activity that you see here is going to be phlebotomy for the most part, unless there are other things you want to do. Assignments are generally, we'll talk about those. Those are kind of special. Assessments are general assessments for material, because even as a phlebotomist, you'll be expected to know information about other aspects that are more toward the MA side of things. There will be phlebotomy quizzes. One of the things we want to do is, as soon as possible, when we get in, we want to get you 2 books. We want to get you your phlebotomy text again, and we want to get you the NCCT phlebotomy practice book. We can get those from Nate as soon as you're in school the next time. And we will, these things that are called Chapter 7, Chapter 8, well, 7 through 12, Chapter 7 through 12, I have quizzes in here for. You will take those. These are all practice quizzes. Everything in here is geared toward practicing for that certification exam. So you'll have phlebotomy quizzes each week. In week 2, we'll have a special phlebotomy quiz, and that will be the in-class phlebotomy practice quiz. This is going to be on paper. It is a quiz of mine that I brought up from our preparation work that we were giving our students in Denver. So we want to get you signed up and going. Here, this practice quiz is not going to be graded. The purpose of this, and we'll do this early next week, the purpose of this phlebotomy practice quiz is to have you see the areas that you need to concentrate your studying on. Many of the things you studied in phlebotomy, like order of draw, like tube additives, you're going to find lots of disagreement out there. So we are, all we can say is that most things will be there. There are some tubes that are generally first in order of draw, like if there is an order for a culture sample, in other words, a microbiology sample to be examined for microorganisms, that is the first tube that's drawn, but it's only drawn after you draw a dummy tube first to clear the lines. Then you do that. Almost inevitably, the last tube drawn will be a lavender top tube. That's for your blood chemistries and everything else. So you'll have that quiz will be there. The whole purpose of that practice quiz, as I said, is to see where you have to concentrate your study. Where are your areas of weakness? And we all have them. I know you took phlebotomy fairly recently, but most of our students are kind of weak in order of draw and additives because they take it way earlier in their program. So we'll have to see that. So we'll do that in week 2. You have some lists here of readings and tools. What you will be doing in this is we'll be working. I'm going to have to modify this. We do not use NHA. I will modify this in the future. We use NCCT. So I'm going to go back to assignment 1. And assignment 1 is to sign up with NCCT. So you'll set up an account. One of the things we want to do is get you scheduled to take that phlebotomy certification exam if it hasn't already been done. And the way it's preferred for us to do that is to work through Thane. If Thane isn't available, Nate and I can do that, either of us. So we want you to go on to this website, ncctinc.com, and again, make sure you use your name exactly as you're enrolled at CA, and set up an account. And then you're going to use the study guide that's there online as well. And review all those things. This will take some time, and you can do it over the course of several days. But we want to be sure that you look at all of this information, and then you'll have a practice test. Here's where we've run into some issues in the past. They appear to have changed some things. But you'll see that the assignments each week are to do practice tests online. This is where that phlebotomy practice book is going to come in, because you won't be able to do practice tests multiple times. At least that's been the experience so far. So the phlebotomy certification guidebook that we give you, you'll take those tests, and and report those results as part of the other assignments. We'll talk about that each week, but this first week you'll be able to do that. What you want to do is print out or screenshot, or take a screenshot of your online practice test results, and then just put that into a Word document and submit that. That's the submission. So you submit that, and you'll be graded based on the results of that test. So each of these assignments is going to be worth about 80 points. So let's go back. Your assessment each week, again, is a graded quiz. The first week is going to be concerning the material in the externship packet. If you don't already have it, you can download it. So let's make sure you have it, so that you have a copy of that, either hard copy or an electronic copy of the externship packet. The purpose of that is for you to understand your responsibilities, our responsibilities during your externship, and what we're expecting from your externship site. So the first assessment is about that, and that's week 1. Then there are numerous quizzes. As I said, we've got what I call phlebotomy quiz 1, chapter 7 and chapter 8 quizzes. All of these, if they're not set up to take 3 times, because I want you to learn the material, I will set them up to be take 3 times. Anytime you run into a quiz in this class that you can't take multiple times, let me know and I'll fix it. Occasionally they just don't come across that way. We also have varying other things that you really will need to know. Vital signs, you've done vital signs. If we need to review that, we can. First aid and CPR, you will be required to have your CPR certification and first aid to get into your externship. Anytime I have to record a Zoom video like today, I will post it in a page at the bottom of the week that we take it, or that I record it. You can't see this now because I have not published it, because there's nothing in it. So after I'm finished with this video, it'll be there, and you'll know that anyway. So that's a couple of things. Let's go up here. Case studies. Each week, for the first 3 weeks, you'll be given a case study. So the instructions are very clear under all circumstances. Read the case study, answer the questions at the end. Get references. You need to have at least 1 reference in your case study. You don't have any other classmates. So after you make your post, I will respond to it, and then I will invite you to respond in return. What I find is that if we can discuss this through the discussion, you learn a little bit more. So in this case, you'll see then a description of what is the patient and what you're doing, and then a series of questions. In this particular case, you got a man that you recognize as a patient, and he wants to see the doctor because he's ill. He gives you some symptoms that he's feeling, and then you obviously confirm those. Somebody coming in saying they have a fever, you need to confirm that they have a fever. Someone coming in, so you take all of the vital signs, and remember using the SOAP charting method. SOAP, in case you forgotten that, is subjective, in a way what the patient says. objective, what you measure, and that's where you stop, because then there's the assessment and the plan. Those are done by the practitioner. But you get the subjective and objective information. Now, there's a part of this that is not necessarily taught when you're taught about SOAP notes. And that is, if you see something that you would like the doctor to pay close attention to, then you can point that out. Okay, but anyway, you don't care about what happens here. After you notify the physician that the patient is ready, I mean, you care if you're working, but you are looking at, then it's the doctors or practitioners, nurse practitioner, PA, whatever, that completes the record and then does the assessment and the plan for care. But it's critical that you get the right information into the subjective, objective part. So this is because we want you to be paying attention to what your patients say, even as a phlebotomist. If a patient says to you, "Oh, I have a terrible, terrible issue." Sorry about that. I have a terrible issue. You do have a requirement to note that and report it. So this is what you'll be doing. I've already made a posting here. I don't give you the answer, obviously. This is for you to make some determinations about. So give some thought to it and make a posting as soon as you can. Okay, so that's the discussion. As I say, there will be 3 case studies. They will be increasingly complex. So let's just say it that way. So that is where we will go. So what I need you to do is to get back to me with a code word, and that code word today will be Tokyo, Tokyo. Send me an email with that in it, and that will tell me that you've watched this. That will constitute my need for you having watched it. If you wanted, I really would like you to go ahead and do this, introduce yourself, simply because I like to have a record of how my students are doing and how they're feeling about where they are in their program. So I'd like you to do that as well. So we have, again, I'd like you to get looking at the discussion. I'd like you, if you have registered already for your phlebotomy certification, then go ahead and start on assignment 1. Assessment 1, download that externship packet if you don't already have it, and go ahead and do it. Get as much as you can done over the weekend, because if you go down through this class, you're going to find lots and lots of quizzes and a lot of work. So we'll be busy all of this time. So again, think about the best time to meet. When I was proposing the time before, I was thinking that you would be an MA cert, because most of my students are. So I wasn't thinking about the fact that you would have to do a lot of phlebotomy practice. So think about when is a good time to meet. If you've got family members, friends, etc., you can bring in. No children, please. Nobody under 18. We cannot allow them in the lab. So whatever we're doing here, we need to figure out how to make sure that you are ready for this certification. Clearly, you can email me anytime with questions. And as I say, if you run into a problem in the quizzes or in the assignments, email me. I do check my email fairly regularly, so let's try and do that. And let me know what was going on, because I was really would prefer to do these face to face because we need to work together. So again, go ahead and get started. Catch up. We've lost 1 day of school time or on residence time, plus losing Thanksgiving. We're really looking at not having at missing a lot of material here, and we need to get caught up. That's why I'd like you to get started on these various quizzes. You may want to wait on these Chapter 7 and Chapter 8 quizzes until we can get you the phlebotomy textbook. Obviously, that's not going to happen this week, so there will be no late penalties or anything. So go ahead and get started. You can take a first pass at them if you want. You'll find also that if you have that great big MA textbook, you can use that for studying some of the other things like vital signs, first aid, CPR. We've got terminology, we've got asepsis, anatomy and physiology, and then that's about it. And then, of course, we'll get started on getting you prepared for this certification. I hope you have a good Thanksgiving, and I will see you at school next Tuesday. And we can arrange to have a different time over the weekend and maybe come in earlier on Tuesday. So, having said that, I will see you next week.